Two figures arrive at the gates of the Demon Dragon Court. The MC and Seo Jeong are immediately stopped by two guards. "Where are you from?" one of them asks. SEO steps forward. "I am Special Investigator Seo Jeong from the Nirvana Pavilion. Step aside. I have urgent business with your commander." The MC watches Seo slightly amused. "Oh, he's bolder than I thought." But the guards scoff. "Special Investigator, you don't look like much. No one gets in without approval." Unfazed, SEO reveals a scroll, the official investigation order. "This is all the approval we need," he declares. One guard hesitates. "We'll need to report to our superiors first," but Seo cuts him off. "No need, we'll be meeting your superiors ourselves." That pushes the guard over the edge. "What did I just say? You can't enter without permission." Ao narrows his eyes. "So, you intend to obstruct an investigation backed by official orders?" The other guard steps forward. "I don't care what title you hold. Once you enter here, you follow our rules. All you have is a fancy badge. It doesn't mean squat here." SEO clenches his jaw, trying to stay calm. The MC, having heard enough, steps in. "Let me ask you two something. Do you even know who I am?" The guards nod casually. "Yeah, we know." "Good," the MC says coolly. "Then you know you're being disrespectful." Bam! The MC lashes out, landing a brutal kick directly to their weak spots. The two guards drop in agony. The MC continues walking. "Don't just stand there, Seo. Lead the way." Flustered but obedient, Seo stammers, "Yes, young master. This way." As they move deeper into the fortress, the MC and Seo are confronted by another group. Rough-looking, brutish men. More guards, but this time led by someone with clear authority. SEO steps up once again, brandishing the investigation document. "Do you not understand? You're obstructing an official investigation. Do you want to end up in prison?" A booming voice cuts through the tension. "Where the hell are you punks from, causing trouble in my court?" A bald man steps forward, exuding aggression. SEO straightens his back. "I am Special Investigator Seo Jeong. State your name and rank." "I'm Go Dang," the man growls. "Captain of the 1st Demonic Corps. Is that good enough for you, brat?" SEO sends a telepathic message to the MC. "That's Go Dang, the right-hand man of this court's master. He's known for his brutal crimes. Even the demonic troops fear him." Go Dang marches towards Seo. "Why so quiet now, investigator?" SEO replies sternly. "Captain Go, I am here under official orders from Nirvana Pavilion. Watch your tone." But Go Dang smirks. "Watch my tone? What if I refuse your little scroll? What then? If you interfere, you'll be charged with obstructing a legal investigation," Seo declares. Go Dang laughs, his men joining in mockingly. "You gonna arrest us? Go ahead, try." The tension rises. The MC steps forward. "It's been a while, Captain Go. I believe we last met at a banquet?" Go Dang narrows his eyes. "What are you talking about?" The MC offers a handshake, but the moment their hands clasp, crack. Go Dang winces in pain. The MC is crushing his hand with an iron grip. "I'm here for urgent business with your commander," the MC says calmly. "So enough posturing. Step aside." Then a telepathic message. "If you try anything, I'll cut off that hand." Go Dang grits his teeth. "People like you always assume I can't hurt them just because they're born into nobility." The MC responds coldly. "You think you can swing that sword with a broken arm?" Go Dang snarls. "Let's find out. Will it be my blade that falls, or your life that ends?" The MC moves past him, unfazed. "Thanks for moving. I'll buy you a drink later." Seo catches up, whispering urgently. "Young master, do you even know who that was? That was Captain Go Dang." "Nope," the MC replies nonchalantly. "First time meeting him." "Then why did he let us through?" "I just broke his hand. He'll be eating with one hand for a while." SEO stares in disbelief. "What? Stop talking, let's go." SEO leads the MC further into the stronghold, toward the upper levels. As they reach landing 7, they're once again blocked. this time by more refined-looking guards. "You may not see the commander without an appointment," one announces firmly. The MC exhales with irritation. "Seriously? Aren't you guys tired of this already?" He steps forward. "I am an official investigator. Move." "I'm afraid I can't allow that," the guard responds, unmoved. The MC lifts the scroll and stares him down. "You see this document? If you stop it, you're not insulting me. You're insulting the cult leader who authorized this." The guard begins to sweat. If you want to insult me, go ahead," the MC says calmly. "But insult this decree, and I'll take that as treason against the cult." Just as the guards begin to waver, a commanding voice echoes from inside the chamber. "Let the second young master through." The heavy doors open. Inside, sitting leisurely atop his throne-like seat, is Commander Gu Cheon-yang, head of the demonic corps. His gaze sharp, his presence overwhelming. "Welcome, second young master," he says coolly. "It seems my subordinates were rude. Please forgive them. They're idiots. I ask for your understanding." The MC studies him in silence, thinking, "So this is Commander Gu Cheon-yang." I can feel a terrifying energy pulsing from his body. Even Seo Daryong looks shaken. The MC addresses him. "Your men intentionally picked a fight with us. Honestly, they seem better suited to reading books than guarding gates." Gu chuckles. "There's a saying, 'Fools are brave.'" The MC counters smoothly. "That's an old proverb. These days it's the intelligent who show true bravery. They're not only tacticians, they also understand what must be done." Gu raises an eyebrow. So I've fallen behind the times." Even with age, he remains this composed, the MC notes inwardly. Gu Cheon-yang then turns to the MC. "Why were you chosen for this investigation?" The MC smirks slightly. "Maybe Father's punishing me for talking too much during our last hunt." Gu's smile widens, clearly entertained. They're all probably racking their brains, the MC thinks, trying to figure out why I'm here. Gu leans forward. "Did Nirvana Pavilion begin this investigation because of another anonymous letter?" The MC nods. "Yes, we received another one." Seo looks surprised that the MC would reveal this. Gu, however, sighs. "I knew it. Ever since I took this post, I've received nothing but insults. Leading a bunch of strong, brainless brutes is exhausting." The MC smiles politely. "We'll make this investigation quick. I appreciate your cooperation." Gu frowns playfully. "Cooperation? I thought we were closer than that." The MC chuckles. "Isn't the Blood Heaven Bladesman backing my brother?" Gu shrugs. "He's him, I'm me. I'll support you." That brings a real laugh from the MC. "Just hearing that makes me feel better. I'll count on you in the days ahead." "And I'll count on you," Gu replies smoothly. "I'll prepare a room for your stay." As the meeting nears its end, Gu Cheon-yang adds with a grin, "Oh, and be careful, I'm really worried about you." The MC looks back knowingly. "You must be talking about the previous investigator who was killed." No, Gu waves off the idea. "The cult leader wouldn't send his son here just to die. I'm simply worried." "Thanks for your concern," the MC says calmly. "We'll be on our way." As they exit, Gu Cheon-yang's expression turns bored again, yet the MC smiles to himself. "I see now. The reason Father sent me here was to make sure one of us ends up dead." Inside a quiet, dim chamber, the cult leader, the heavenly demon himself, stares at his sword, deep in thought. Beside him, the chief advisor speaks urgently. "This isn't a trivial matter, my lord. You should have sent me to handle it, not the second young master." But the heavenly demon does not answer immediately. He calmly polishes the blade in his hand, then says, "He told me that we've already lost our way on the path of demonism." The chief advisor flinches, shocked. "You sent him for saying that?" The heavenly demon continues, his voice cold but composed. "If he dares to speak so boldly, then he must prove it through action." The chief advisor says nothing, stunned by the implication. The next morning, a dead raven is seen hanging from a rope in the courtyard. Dozens of demonic soldiers gather, murmuring and frowning. "What the hell is this? Why would anyone hang a dead bird at the front gate?" "Damn investigators from Nirvana Pavilion. They're such a pain." The soldiers grumble and curse the MC and Seo Dae-ryong. From a distance, the MC watches the crowd. Interesting. The ones who tried to block us at the gate are the ones whining the most now. Suddenly, a loud voice interrupts the commotion. This is going too far. Everyone turns. A tall, muscular man approaches with a furious expression. The MC eyes him cautiously. Who's that? SEO uses telepathy. That's Captain Jang Ho of the 3rd Demonic Corps. He's one of the strongest martial artists among the captains, and extremely short-tempered. Jang Ho walks right up to the MC and Seo. He points at the hanging raven. Do I even need to say why this is inappropriate? Hanging something so damn ominous where people enter and exit? The MC responds calmly. Someone from the Demonic Corps put that on my bed. I figured it was some kind of local tradition. Jang Ho snaps. If someone did something to you, you should have just punished them. Why stir up unnecessary trouble? The two men lock eyes, tension thick in the air. Then the MC speaks with sharp clarity. Fine, then I'll start with you. Jang Ho flinches, confused. What did you just say? Investigation, the MC answers firmly. Begin with Jang Ho. Submit all records, financials, movements, the works. Jang Ho's face twists with anger. You think you can do this just because you're a brat with a title? The MC doesn't flinch. I can, and I will. Rage boiling, Jang Ho slams his foot into the ground. Crack! Boom! The stone floor beneath him shatters, but the MC remains perfectly still. Feel free to get mad, the MC says coldly, but interfering with an official investigation makes you a traitor. Jang Ho's men rush to restrain him. Captain, don't. Just let it go. The MC turns away. Good, then we'll begin our investigation. With you. Jang Ho scowls. Fine, let's see where this leads. The next morning, inside a quiet room, Jang Ho sits across from the MC and Seo, arms crossed, expression stiff. The MC asks directly, How long are you planning to keep testing me, Captain? Jang Ho looks puzzled. What are you talking about? The MC doesn't hesitate. You're the one who sent the anonymous letter. Seo gasps in shock. It was you? I can't believe it. Jang Ho stammers. What the hell are you saying? Silence falls. Then, Jang Ho exhales deeply and admits it. Yeah, I sent it. How the hell did you know? The MC explains. You were involved in the Raven incident, but stayed just far enough to avoid suspicion. That was your alibi, he continues. And when I hung that raven at the entrance, only your men didn't react. No mocking, no anger. They were quiet. That silence told me everything. Jang Ho is taken aback, unable to speak. The MC goes further. Also, your men tried to stop you earlier. That tells me they knew something was wrong. You lead your squad with discipline, but even so, you couldn't ignore the corruption within. In his mind, the MC adds, there was another reason I suspected him. In my past life, one of the demonic corps captains was murdered. After he sent an anonymous letter just like this one. That captain was Jang Ho. Captain Jang Ho, sitting still, finally opens up. I didn't even know if the letter would make a difference, so I didn't include too many details. I never imagined you, the second young master, would be the one sent to investigate. The MC replies with a calm, serious tone. So now that you've seen it for yourself, what do you think? Jang Ho lowers his head. I think we're all finished. Hearing this, the MC glances towards Seo and mutters with dry sarcasm. Honesty is the trend among young people these days, huh? SEO blinks and responds, but you're even younger than us, aren't you? That comment makes the MC pause, remembering, that's right, I'm living a second life now. With a heavier tone, the MC asks, so what's really going on here? Why would a demonic corps captain use his soldiers for personal gain? Jang Ho finally confesses, they're accepting assassination requests, taking money, and sending troops to eliminate targets. Soldiers of the corps have been used like pawns to murder people. The MC, stunned, mutters under his breath, I assumed it was just bribery from a few martial factions, but this is far worse. SEO gasps in disbelief. How could they? The MC quickly connects the dots. It was all done by controlling the assignment rosters. The First Corps manipulated their deployment. I'm sure of it. Jang Ho looks up, stunned. How did you figure that out, my lord? The MC calmly explains. The same way I figured out your involvement. You were the first to react to the Raven. The First Corps? They were the first to stop us when we arrived. They tried too hard to act normal. That always says something. Jang Ho clenches his fist, then quietly admits. There's more. The investigator who died before you came, he was my friend. We joined the cult together, like family. The MC narrows his eyes. Who do you think killed him? Jang Ho answers without hesitation. It must have been the one who gave the orders. The commander of the demonic corps and Go Dang, the First Corps captain. The MC's thoughts grow darker. If that's true, then this entire investigation involves massive corruption. A captain, an entire corps, and the murder of a pavilion investigator. Did Father and Sima Mayung really not know about this? Then the MC realizes, no, they knew. That's why they sent me. They wanted to see if I could truly handle it, even if it meant facing down captains of the demonic corps. He looks at Jang Ho with a serious gaze. You had a good friend. Jang Ho, holding back tears, whispers. He was a good man. If I'd been a better friend, maybe I would have done something when he died. The MC stands. Captain of the Third Corps, Jang Ho, thank you for having the courage to speak up. Jang Ho's shoulders tremble as he finally breaks down into quiet sobs. Seo Daryong and the MC sit silently, sharing his sorrow. In that moment, the MC speaks in his heart. Today, I've started to feel hope again. Hope for the demonic path that was once lost. The heavenly demon cult I envision will be a place where men like Jang Ho hold real power. In his past life, Jang Ho was killed. But this time, I won't let him die. This is the reason I came back. Seo Daryong and the MC walk together down a quiet corridor. You're different from the rumors, Seo finally said, glancing at the MC with curiosity. The MC looked at him. Oh? And what kind of rumors are going around? SEO hesitated, then admitted, there are a few. They say you're unfit to be the heavenly demon. The MC simply smiled. That's fine. I take it as a compliment. SEO blinked, clearly caught off guard by the calm response. The MC continued, his voice firm but thoughtful. To me, being fit to be the heavenly demon isn't something to be praised. Besides, the cult we have today, I don't think it needs to be ruled through fear anymore. Don't you think it's time for change? Hearing that, Seo fell silent, surprised by the MC's conviction. This cult must change. Otherwise, what awaits is the slaughter of my family, and the end of the heavenly demon cult itself. One of the investigators came rushing in, clearly distressed. There's a problem, young master. You need to see it immediately. The MC and the investigator rushed to the scene, and what they saw made the MC's eyes widen. Seo Daryong and another investigator were covered in blood. Stop! The MC shouted. He hurried over. SEO Daryong, are you hurt badly? Seo shook his head, panting. I'm fine, young master, but my colleague has suffered serious injuries. The MC knelt to check the man's condition. His ribs were broken. Take him to the medical ward, quickly. The investigators immediately moved the injured man. Then the MC turned to face a familiar figure. Go Dang, the ball captain of the First Corps. Go Dang. Was it you? Go Dang grinned smugly. Yeah, I did it. The MC narrowed his eyes. Why? Why would you assault a Nirvana Pavilion investigator? Go Dang shrugged casually. He bumped into my shoulder and just kept walking without apologizing, so I taught him a lesson. The MC snapped. You were the one who rammed into him, weren't you? Even if he had apologized, you wouldn't have let it go. Go Dang laughed. Exactly. The MC's voice turned cold. You're poison. That word made the soldiers around them stiffen. Poison? Go Dang repeated, confused. Yes, the MC said firmly. Your subordinates are poison to you. Go Dang scoffed. What are you even talking about? The MC stepped closer, his voice steady. Last year, you killed one of our cult members in the manor. 2 years ago, you killed 3 others in a bar fight. Every time, they were low-ranked martial artists. And every time, the demonic core covered it up for you. Go Dang replied, they were all dead weight. They didn't belong in the core. The MC clenched his fist. Do you understand that I have the authority to order an execution? Those words made every member of Core 1 go silent. Go Dang laughed again. Oh, and what do you plan to do with that authority? I doubt you'll actually carry it out. This is what I meant by poison, the MC thought. A fool who thinks he can stand tall simply because others fear him. He should have started to feel fear, but instead he doubles down, acting strong before his men. He doesn't even know where he truly stands anymore. The MC began walking forward. The demonic soldiers tensed, placing hands on their weapons. Go Dang barked. Messing with one of us means messing with the entire demonic core. You really think you're brave enough for that? The MC smirked. At least I'm not hiding behind my subordinates. Go Dang lifted his bandaged right hand. Call it luck, he sneered. I'm injured, thanks to a certain coward. The MC raised his left hand. Then I'll fight without using my right. Just you and me, what do you say? Go Dang grinned. Just don't go crying to the cult leader after you get hurt. The MC looked him straight in the eye. Even if I die here, I won't hold you responsible, I swear it. From behind, Seo's voice echoed in his mind. What is the young master doing? Go Dang grinned wide. Fine then, let's do this. He raised his sword in his left hand and charged. Go Dang lunged first, sword swinging with surprising force. But the MC moved smoothly, dodging each blow with precision. Clang! The ground shattered under the sheer weight of Go Dang's strikes, but the MC remained untouchable, leaping into the air and dancing between attacks. Then, an opening. The MC dashed forward and, in a flash, spun his sword upward. Slash! A clean cut. Go Dang's left arm flew through the air. Ah! Go Dang screamed in agony, collapsing to his knees. But the MC wasn't finished. He slammed the hilt of his sword into Go Dang's face. Crack! Go Dang hit the ground, blood pouring from his mouth. The surrounding soldiers of Core 1 froze in disbelief. Their captain had been crushed. Seo Daryong called out in concern. Young master! But in the blink of an eye, the MC spun and slashed at the soldiers rushing toward him. Each blade met a neck. Each enemy fell in one motion. The courtyard was littered with fallen corpses. Silence descended. Even the remaining soldiers stood motionless, terrified. The MC, standing amidst the fallen, spoke coldly. Their crime was treason. Go Dang, gasping and bloody, tried to plead, Please, have mercy. The MC looked down at him. Do you even know what happened to the families of the people you killed? Go Dang had no answer. Of course not, the MC growled. You never cared. They lost fathers, husbands, sons, and you think they just went on with their lives? Go Dang mumbled an apology. I was wrong. Please. Shut your mouth, the MC snapped, then stomped down, splattering blood across the stone. The soldiers could only watch, paralyzed. Who do you think you are, the MC said through clenched teeth, to murder your own cult members? Demon Dragon Court, later that night. Inside a lavish hall, music echoed gently. A woman played an instrument while others danced. The MC sat across from Gu Cheon-yang, commander of the demonic core. Gu Cheon-yang raised his glass. I heard there was trouble downstairs. The MC replied calmly. It wasn't planned. But yes, there was a conflict. Gu Cheon-yang sighed. We had to dispatch the first corps captain because we had no choice. There were too many suspicions about him. What trash, the MC thought. He served you loyally, yet you act like he's a disposable tool. Gu Cheon-yang sipped his drink and continued. You killed a captain of the demonic core. If this becomes a big issue, things won't be easy for you. He smiled. So, how about we put this all behind us? The MC looked at him. I'd love to end this cleanly, but there's one issue. Gu Cheon-yang paused. And what would that be? I don't have any proof. I came here for an official investigation. but I've got nothing to report to my superiors. Gu Cheonyang poured himself another drink and said casually, "Just fake the evidence." The MC raised an eyebrow. "I can't. The anonymous letter we received said there were external assassination requests accepted for money. That's not something I can sweep under the rug. So if you want this investigation shut down, you need to give me the evidence." A few hours later, Seo Daryong rushed over. "Second young master, what are you doing here?" The MC standing outside a recovery room answered, "I came to check on the wounded. Why so surprised?" SEO looked stunned. The demon cult's top healer is treating him? He usually only cares for the highest ranking members. Also, thank you for calling him here. The MC smiled. "Of course, we may be investigators, but we're still comrades working side by side." SEO was speechless. Just then, the demonic healer stepped out. "Ah, young master, you're here." The MC recognized him immediately. The healer was the most skilled in the cult, only treating the elite. "How's his condition?" the MC asked. The healer nodded. "He's out of danger, but he'll need time to fully recover." "Good," the MC said. "They were hurt serving the cult. Please use the best medicine." "Of course, young master." The other investigators overheard. Their expressions shifted. One by one, they bowed slightly. "Thank you, young master," one said. "You really did your best to save him." The MC said nothing, only turned and walked away. Outside the medical hall, SEO Daryong followed behind the MC. "What did the demonic corps commander say?" he asked. The MC answered plainly. "He wants us to end the investigation and just report that the first corps captain was the sole culprit." SEO's eyes widened. "Even though one of his most trusted subordinates just died?" The MC shook his head. "That man wasn't someone important. He was just the most convenient tool. Someone else will fill that position soon." SEO pressed further. "Then, what will you do now, young master?" The MC gave a faint smirk. "I've already thrown the bait. Now I want to see how he responds." "Bait?" CEO asked, puzzled. The MC simply said, "I'll tell you once the fish bites. For now, join me for a drink." SEO blinked in surprise. "A drink? All right, but I'm paying this time." The MC smiled in return. Next morning, investigators' quarters. SEO brought over a stack of documents. "Young master, these are the records we received. Assassination requests, financial ledgers, and other important papers found in the First Corps captain's home." The MC glanced at the files and smirked to himself. He took the bait. Then he looked to Seo. "I want you to find the smartest person in the First Corps. Someone weirdly well informed. Too competent. I'm certain there's someone behind all this." SEO nodded. "Understood." "While you're on that," the MC added, "I'll stall the commander a bit longer." Back at the commander's chambers, the MC arrived with a calm smile. "Commander Gu Cheonyang, we've found evidence in the First Corps captain's estate." Gu Cheonyang grinned. "Oh? Wonderful. Then it's over, right? Let's drink. I already reserved our table from last time." But the MC didn't match his energy. "There's a problem." Gu Cheonyang's smile faltered. "What now?" "The evidence came from the demonic corps, not from us investigators." "That's an issue. The chief advisor isn't stupid. He'll suspect that the whole thing was fabricated." Gu Cheonyang's eyes narrowed. He briefly imagined the chief advisor's stern expression. "So what's your suggestion?" he asked cautiously. The MC leaned in slightly. "Let's pretend we're still investigating, just for one more day. We'll do a full-scale inquiry. I need your cooperation, access to non-sensitive documents." Gu Cheonyang hesitated, then reluctantly nodded. "Fine, I'll tell my men to help." The MC smiled politely. "I don't need anything sensitive. Just the basic paperwork, contracts used to hire assassins, and the last testaments of agents who died on dangerous missions. With those, I can trace the handwriting." A secret interrogation room. Inside a dark room, a man named Yang Gu sat tied to a chair, his arms and legs bound tightly. "Why are you doing this to me?" he demanded. The MC stepped forward. "Because you forged the assassination request that was sent to our office." Yang-Gu's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. The MC crossed his arms. You probably don't. You were just following orders. But I don't want obedience. I want truth, Yang-Gu stammered. I swear, I never received any such order. The MC studied his expression for a moment, then sighed. I get it. You're scared your commander will kill you. Yang-Gu didn't respond. Then the MC untied him. You're free to go. What? Yang-Gu stammered, confused. You're not going to torture me? No, the MC replied. I don't enjoy hurting loyal subordinates, especially those with no choice but to follow orders. He turned his back on Yang-Gu. But you do realize, right? We investigators will be leaving this place safely. You, however, won't. Yang-Gu flinched. What do you mean? The commander already knows we detained you. If you walk out of here unharmed, what will he think? That you've talked. Yang-Gu's face drained of color. You know what kind of man he is. What happens to someone he thinks is a traitor? Yang-Gu began trembling. His jaw clenched, teeth grinding in sheer panic. Seo Dae-ryong, gritting his teeth upon hearing the MC's words, spoke to the MC. According to Jang Ho's suspicion, 3rd Corps Captain of the Demonic Army was the one who ordered the murder of the Nirvana Pavilion investigators and Jang Ho's colleague. The one who executed all those orders was Go Dang, the 1st Corps Captain, who is already dead. There are also other evil deeds that have been committed. Listening to the explanation of the case from Seo Dae-ryong, the MC stayed silent, contemplating his next move. Seo Dae-ryong then said to the MC, They have killed many people, but Gu Cheon-yang, the demonic army commander, won't simply let himself be imprisoned. Hearing this, the MC told Seo Dae-ryong, I won't be taking him to prison. Seo Dae-ryong was shocked by the MC's statement, prompting him to ask the MC why. The MC, with a serious expression, replied, I'm not going to imprison him. I'm going to kill him. Hearing this, Dae-ryong couldn't believe what the MC just said. The MC informed Seo that if Gu Cheon-yang, the demonic army commander, were imprisoned, then Bloodheaven's sword demon would also move, as he wouldn't simply sit still and watch his younger brother be executed. If that happened, things would become complicated and dangerous. The MC explained there would be numerous fabricated pieces of evidence claiming no one gave orders to Go Dang to commit those crimes, causing all the crimes to be pinned on a scapegoat. Many insults and sinister schemes targeting the MC would then follow. If we let the demonic army commander live, others will be killed to cover up their crimes. Even Yang Ho, who sent the letter, would die. All 3rd Corps soldiers trying to protect him would also be killed. And you too would be on that list, Seo. SEO was shocked and speechless upon hearing this. But if the 3rd Corps commander dies during the arrest, then the situation will be different. All that remains is proving his crimes. Seo Dae-ryong then asked the MC, But will you be alright? The Bloodheaven sword demon will seek revenge. The MC stood from his seat and replied, Not everyone seeks revenge when their family members die, especially Blood Demon. He isn't someone who would waste his life on revenge. Seeing the MC heading toward the exit, Seo Dae-ryong asked, Second young master, where are you going? The MC suddenly stopped, turned around and said, I already told you. I will kill demonic army commander Gu Cheon-yang. Seo Dae-ryong was surprised and disbelieving, asking the MC, Right now? After a short while, the MC arrived in demonic army commander Gu Cheon-yang's room. Sitting there, served fruits and alcohol, the MC informed Gu Cheon-yang, We've completed this investigation thanks to your help. Gu Cheon-yang smiled and replied, I'm glad the investigation has ended. Though relieved, I'm saddened because it's time to part ways. Facing the demonic army commander, the MC said, When I become the successor, I'll definitely repay the kindness you've shown me. Hearing this, Gu Cheon-yang responded, Those are my words exactly. I won't forget your good intention to resolve this investigation without trouble. The MC smiled inwardly, thinking, Indeed, you won't forget this incident. You're extremely greedy. You've suffered a huge loss this time. Of course, you won't forget it. The MC then picked up alcohol, saying to Gu Cheon-yang, Let's drink to the end of the investigation. Gu Cheonyang smiled and replied, "Certainly." The MC poured alcohol into Gu Cheonyang's small cup. Suddenly, the MC asked, "Why did you do it?" Hearing this, Gu Cheonyang asked, "Do what? What do you mean?" The MC replied, "You should have enough money to spend comfortably until old age. Why are you so greedy using the demonic army to accept requests for money?" Hearing this, Gu Cheonyang stopped himself from drinking and placed the cup back on the table. He then said, "How would I know? You should ask the late First Corps captain." Responding, the MC asked, "Would a puppet know anything?" Gu Cheonyang asked, "What are you trying to say, second young master?" The MC answered, "I was genuinely curious about your thoughts, but I suppose there's nothing in that deep darkness within you, just endless greed, always craving more." Gu Cheonyang, enraged by the MC's words, shattered his cup and shouted, "Have you lost your mind?" The MC replied calmly, "You're the crazy one for accepting all those requests." Gu Cheonyang shouted again, "I'm sick of your nonsense." His shout made the place chaotic, with fragments of the building flying everywhere. The MC appeared calm, continuing to enjoy his drink. Suddenly, Gu Cheonyang ceased his rampage and stood frozen, because a sword had unknowingly pierced his body. The MC drank his alcohol and declared, "Fifth technique of soaring sword art, heavenly strike." After finishing his drink, he dropped the cup, shattering it. Standing up, the MC said, "Demonic Army Commander Gu Cheonyang, you're under arrest for abusing the demonic army for personal gain and for more than 20 cases of murder or instigation of murder." Gu Cheonyang, in pain from being stabbed, replied, "This isn't an arrest." The MC answered, "Indeed, you'll also be executed. Just leave this world for those who will continue living." The MC pulled out the sword embedded in Gu Cheonyang's body. Gu Cheonyang immediately vomited a large amount of blood. Witnesses couldn't believe what they saw, as Gu Cheonyang, the demonic army commander, died sitting in a pool of blood without resistance. The MC then announced to everyone present, "Listen, the demonic army commander died during the arrest for the serious crimes he committed." Gu Cheonyang's subordinates, witnessing this, were frozen in fear, unable to act. The MC then shouted, "Seo Daeryong, arrest all First Corps members and imprison them. This case will be officially investigated." Seo Daeryong responded, "Yes, young master," bowing his head. The MC continued, "Third Captain Jang Ho, everyone under your command except the First Corps members will assist Nirvana Pavilion investigators in arresting the First Corps members. I've received full authority to handle this case, so my orders are the same as those of the cult leader. Carry out my orders immediately." Jang Ho replied, "Yes, young master," bowing his head. Seo Daeryong and Third Captain Jang Ho were safe, not dead like in the past. Seeing this, the MC smiled. The next day, the MC stood in front of the building where his father, the heavenly demon, was located. Entering the building, he found 3 people waiting inside: the heavenly demon, the chief advisor, and Blood Heaven's sword demon. Walking toward the throne, the MC noticed Blood Heaven's sword demon, whose gaze was filled with the intent to kill him for murdering his younger brother, demonic army commander Gu Cheonyang. The atmosphere inside the cult's grand chamber was tense. Standing before the heavenly demon's throne, the MC lowered his head in formal respect. The chief advisor observed his arrival silently while the Blood Heaven sword demon fixed his sharp gaze upon him. "Good to see you again, second young master," said the Blood Heaven sword demon, breaking the silence. "I want to ask about what truly happened." Without hesitation, the MC replied calmly, "Everything is in the report. You're free to read it." As the Blood Heaven sword demon stared at him, the MC shifted his gaze toward his father and thought, "They're testing me. Father and the advisor are just watching, curious how I'll handle this. The investigation revealed your brother committed serious crimes," the MC continued. "He tried to kill me during the arrest. I'm sorry for his death." The Blood Heaven sword demon nodded. If he committed such acts, then punishment was deserved. But, he added, he might have been pitiful, but he wasn't foolish. I doubt he'd attack when the truth was already exposed. The MC, fully aware of what could have happened, remained composed. If he had lived, he would have begged his brother for help. Bloodheaven probably knows I killed him to erase the root of the problem. I'm not sure why he did it, the MC responded. Perhaps he just couldn't accept being captured. There was a pause. I heard he was in a frantic state, the MC added. That's why he couldn't fight at full strength. Thanks for telling me, the Bloodheaven Sword Demon smiled faintly. That brings me peace. The MC forced a soft smile. No need to thank me. My condolences for your brother. He didn't show a hint of anger. I killed his brother and student, yet he remains composed. This man is dangerous, the MC thought. The heavenly demon, seated upon the throne, finally spoke. Prepare your brother's funeral. For now, get some rest. Thank you for your kindness, the Bloodheaven Sword Demon said with a bow before leaving. As he passed by the MC, the latter thought, he's probably going to report to Father that I've gone too far, or ask whether my methods were truly necessary. Now alone with the heavenly demon and the chief advisor, the advisor turned to the MC. Well done, second young master. The evidence you've gathered is sufficient to close this case without issue. Are you injured? I'm fine. Thank you for your concern, the MC replied politely. The advisor then presented a long object wrapped in cloth. The cult leader has prepared a gift for your service. The MC unwrapped it and his eyes widened. This is the black demonic sword? Yes, the advisor confirmed. The cult leader has given it to you. Black demonic sword, one of the two legendary weapons alongside the white demonic sword, the MC thought. If Father really wanted to reward me, he should have given me the white demonic sword. It suits my personality better. The heavenly demon opened his eyes at that moment. The black demonic sword suits you more. So, Father doesn't understand me as well as he thinks, the MC mused, unsheathing the blade. As soon as the blade left its scabbard, a freezing aura spread across the room, chilling like winter itself. It's freezing cold even without any energy flowing into it. The heavenly demon smiled faintly at his son's reaction. The chief advisor was visibly surprised. Did the cult leader just smile? Is he proud of his son? Sheathing the sword again, the MC bowed deeply. Thank you, Father. Not just for the sword, but for what it means. The heavenly demon's eyes briefly widened again, taken aback by the sincerity. You may leave, he finally said. Outside the residence, the MC encountered the Bloodheaven Sword Demon again, lounging nearby. The sun feels warm today, he said. Why don't we sit together before you go? I knew he wouldn't leave quietly. As the MC sat beside him, the demon noticed the black demonic sword and raised an eyebrow. Hot day, isn't it? The MC said. Suddenly, the demon burst into rage. How dare you attack and kill my brother? I'll tear you apart and offer your flesh at his grave. The MC could barely react, overwhelmed by a blazing heat as if he were thrown into a furnace. But then, the demon smirked. That's what I should be saying, right? He raised his sword, intending to smack the MC like he had once done before. But the MC caught his hand and snapped, You senile old fool. Have you grown old but remained this immature, breaking cult rules for your brother's sake? If you move again, I'll shred you into dust. A frigid energy burst from the MC's body, causing the demon to flinch in surprise. That's your declaration? The demon asked. That's my answer, the MC replied, smiling coldly. Suddenly, the Bloodheaven Sword Demon laughed loudly, echoing across the courtyard. Ha! You're right, he finally said. But still, maybe you could have gone easier on him. He was my brother after all. I tried, the MC snapped. I wanted to settle it peacefully, but he crossed the line. There was no line left to respect. I see, the demon muttered, then glanced away. You're aware of the corruption within the demonic core, aren't you? Yes, why did you let it fester? He wouldn't listen to me, and truthfully, I'm not innocent either, the demon admitted. When I heard he died, I was relieved. At least he wouldn't be an obstacle anymore. The MC was stunned. He's honest about his own brother? I understand, the MC said quietly. The demon turned sharply toward him, shocked. You understand? Yes, Because if I ever hear that my own brother died, I might feel relieved too, since I wouldn't have to kill him with my own hands. The courtyard fell silent. Only the wind remained. The Bloodheaven sword demon could say nothing in return. The sun blazed high above, casting long shadows across the cult grounds. The MC sat quietly beside the Bloodheaven sword demon, the tension between them thick as iron. The older man glanced sideways, his eyes unreadable. "What do you see when you look at me?" the MC wondered silently. The Bloodheaven sword demon suddenly turned his gaze skyward. "Looks like this year's heat will be worse than usual," he murmured. The MC didn't answer. The old man stood, walking away without looking back. "Lucky for me, I'm not weak to heat," the MC muttered under his breath, unsure if the demon had even heard. As the elder's figure vanished in the distance, the MC's thoughts grew heavy. "I can't read him. Maybe he's plotting revenge. Or maybe he'll bury this incident like clouds swallowed by the horizon. Either way, I have no regrets." The training hall. Inside a quiet chamber, the MC stood alone, facing his new weapon, the black demonic sword. Drawing it from its sheath, he whispered, "Nice to meet you. From now on, I'm your master." A chilling aura burst from the blade the moment his energy touched it, so immense it caught him off guard. "This power, it's completely different. I like it." He practiced thrusts and sweeps, the weight and chill of the sword sinking with his rhythm. Sweat beaded down his brow, but he continued, training for hours, forging a bond between sword and soul. Later, exhausted but focused, the MC stepped outside to catch his breath, only to freeze in shock. A wall of demonic soldiers stood in formation outside the hall. Their expressions were cold, their intent clear. Among them stood the elite, the sword demons, and even subordinates of the Bloodheaven sword demon. Did they come on their own, or were they sent? Either way, their hostility is clear. The air trembled as they unleashed a surge of demonic energy toward him. The MC braced himself. One wrong move and this pressure alone could cripple me. They weren't attacking yet, but their aura pressed down on him like a mountain, trying to scare me into submission. Then he remembered something. If I absorb this energy, I can use it. In a bold move, the MC activated Meridian Strength Technique, a forbidden martial art that allowed him to absorb and harness energy from multiple martial sources simultaneously. Demonic auras surged into him, flooding his meridians. His body trembled, his skin cracked with glowing yellow veins, but he held firm. More. Keep going. Again and again. He stepped forward. And again and again. His technique evolved past the second stage into the third, then the fourth, and finally. By the time he opened his eyes, he was surrounded. Every warrior stared at him, not with contempt but with fear. One massive soldier stepped forward to block his path, but flinched under the MC's piercing gaze and stepped aside. Like a wave parting for the tide, the entire line of sword demons opened a path. "They've acknowledged me," the MC thought with a smirk. Good. Cult Leaders Hall. The heavenly demon sat silently on his throne. The MC stood before him, eyes raised to the ornate seat. "You wish to sit there?" the heavenly demon asked suddenly. The MC flinched. He hadn't sensed his father's presence behind him. "Number I wouldn't defile your throne," he answered. "Then try it," his father said, gesturing for him to sit. Hesitant but obedient, the MC sat. The chair felt cold. "How does it feel?" his father asked. The MC looked around the chamber. His gaze fell upon the demonic statue beside the throne. "I thought I'd feel excitement," he said, "but I feel nothing." "Same here," the heavenly demon replied. "The first time I sat there, I felt nothing too." He killed his own brother to sit on that throne, the MC thought. I wonder what he felt that day. Then his father added, "The sword demons who came to test you did so of their own will. The Bloodheaven sword demon didn't send them." "I know," the MC said. "I acted as if their energy didn't affect me, but if just one of them had attacked, I might have died." He clenched his fists. "I didn't fear them. I feared making the wrong move. I feared that a single mistake might destroy everything." A pause. I missed you, Father." The heavenly demon was silent. Then he said, A demon does not look backward. He walks forward. Always. The MC looked at his father. Was that his way of comforting me? He smiled faintly. Then, Father, instead of those ugly demon statues, can we replace them with statues of the Central Plain's most beautiful women? The heavenly demon glared at him. The MC stood up quickly. I'll take my leave now before I talk myself into trouble. Father, please sit. As he turned to leave, he paused, then asked, Father, may I kill the Blood Heaven Sword Demon? For the first time, the heavenly demon's face filled with visible rage. Inside the vast chamber of the heavenly demon, laughter boomed like thunder. Ha! You may have slain the demonic core commander, he said between chuckles, but defeating the Blood Heaven Sword Demon, you are not ready. The MC stood in silence, absorbing the insult. Then with a calm yet cutting tone, he asked, Then why pit me against him in the first place? Wasn't it you who created this conflict? Shouldn't you take responsibility? The laughter died. The heavenly demon's voice dropped an octave. I will take responsibility. He stared down at the MC. I'll appoint you as head of the Nirvana Pavilion. The room went quiet. The MC's eyes widened. Nirvana Pavilion, the cult's own investigative bureau? He stiffened. So this is it. He wants me to clean up his mess. Whether I live or die doesn't matter, as long as I serve his purpose. The MC's fist clenched. His gaze hardened. If you want me to go out and slay a beast, he said coldly, then at the very least, give me a blade to do it. The heavenly demon raised an eyebrow. What is it you want? The MC looked him dead in the eyes. Grant me entry to the heavenly demon archive. A beat of silence. The heavenly demon's expression flickered, genuine surprise. That place holds the rarest martial manuals in our cult, he said. And you think just reading titles will make you strong? The MC didn't blink. I want to test my own luck. After a pause, the cult leader relented. 7 days, that's all. The forbidden archive. Rows of ancient scrolls lined the towering shelves. The MC walked slowly through the sacred space, his footsteps echoing. This is the true core of the heavenly demon cult. He recalled his past life, when his face was disfigured and unrecognizable, when decades passed climbing the ranks just to meet the new cult leader. It was that leader, Joe Bekdo, who once revealed a secret. I only became cult leader because I found the lost technique, 4 strides of the wind god. I discovered it here. The MC remembered his words clearly. The manual was never stored on the shelves. It was propping up shelf 19. Following that memory, the MC found shelf 19. He crouched, reached beneath, and there it was. It's real. He pulled the weathered book free, opening it with reverence. With 4 steps, one can traverse the world. A smile tugged at his lips. In seclusion, the MC trained day and night. He memorized the 4 forms. Shadow step, a movement technique to sneak past detection. When mastered, it allowed total invisibility, even from 10 direct gazes. Flicker step, used to evade inescapable strikes, slipping through the slimmest of gaps. Dead step, a penetrating assault that shattered any defense. Swift step, a movement so fast that even the word speed failed to capture it. His aura sharpened, his presence blurred. Each step brought him closer to perfection. Scene shift, throne room. 7 days later, the MC stood before his father once again. I've returned. He bowed deeply. The heavenly demon's voice rang out. What did you learn? The MC answered plainly. 4 strides of the wind god. The throne creaked. The cult leader stood. Don't joke with me, he growled. You expect me to believe you learned the lost shadow step? The MC looked up calm. I would never lie to you about something like this. A long silence. Show me, the heavenly demon ordered. Demonstrate your skill. The MC smirked. What will you give me in return? The leader narrowed his eyes. Your life. The MC laughed. Fair enough. Inhale. A gust of wind whipped around him. 4 strides of the wind god. With a single step, his body vanished, like a flickering shadow. The heavenly demon's jaw tightened. He watched in stunned silence as his son reappeared in the blink of an eye, no longer visible, but felt like the chill of a storm. He's moving like a ghost. Impossible, the cult leader whispered. The MC stood still now, composed. His father's eyes were wide in undeniable awe. The towering heavenly demon narrowed his eyes, stepping toward the MC. Where did you learn the 4 strides of the wind god? He asked sharply. The MC didn't flinch. Inside the heavenly demon archive. The answer made the heavenly demon stop in his tracks, his expression twisted. Don't lie to me. That technique doesn't exist in the archive. But the MC stood firm. I swear, I found it while I was in there. Still lying? The cult leader growled. You really think that manual is in there just because you've seen a few footwork scrolls? The MC replied calmly. You believe it's not there because you assume you've seen everything worth reading. Then tell me, where did you find it? It was wedged beneath a crooked bookshelf being used to prop it up. A long silence passed. The heavenly demon closed his eyes. So that's where the key pages went. The MC blinked. How do you know that? The heavenly demon slowly turned his back to him. Because I would have done the same thing. He walked toward the throne but paused and glanced back. Teach me the steps. The MC froze. So it's come to this. I don't want to defeat my father or take his seat. My goal is to kill Hwaugi, to save father, to save everyone in the pavilion. I only wanted him to live long enough to see the world. If teaching him this art helps, I'll do it. The MC gave a faint smile. I refuse. The heavenly demon glared at him. Nothing's free, father, the MC added casually. A twitch of irritation crossed the demon's face. I taught you that sword technique in the hunting grounds for free. That was just payment for the alcohol you drank there? You've held that in this whole time, the demon shouted. You little... I held it in until I was strong enough to make it worth something. The heavenly demon scowled. What do you want? The heavenly demon defense art. The words hit like thunder. That's impossible, he bellowed. That technique is reserved for the heavenly demon, or his successor, the MC replied coolly. Just teach me in secret. It's not something anyone can see from the outside anyway. The demon went silent, staring at him with disbelief. I'll leave you to consider it, the MC said, turning to walk away. But behind him came a voice. I'll allow it, if you teach me the 4 strides first. The MC turned slowly, genuinely surprised. He actually agreed. I can teach it now if you'd like, the MC offered. The heavenly demon snorted. You're assuming I'll uphold my end even if I master it first? You're not the kind of man to go back on his word in front of his own son. The demon was silent. Then finally he said, Fine, show me. The MC nodded. All right, father. He began to explain each movement, the theory, the flow, the foot placement. Shadow step, flicker step, dead step, swift step. When he finished, he asked, Shall I repeat that? The demon shook his head. No need. Then, whoosh! He vanished. The MC's eyes widened. He's fast, fast. His body left flickering after images. That's not what I taught him. It's his own interpretation of the 4 strides? The heavenly demon reappeared with a smirk. It's a fine martial art. The MC, still stunned, thought, after my regression, this is the biggest change. Will Hwaugi even be able to beat father now that he has this power? Suddenly, the heavenly demon said, I'll teach you the heavenly demon defense art. I'll only say it once, so listen well. The MC stood straight. Yes, father. Later, the MC staggered out of the training chamber, a visible bruise on his forehead. Leon gasped. Who did this to you? Which bastard hit you? I'll kill... It was my father. Leon froze. In the MC's memory, the training flashed again, grueling, punishing, but effective. I finally learned the heavenly demon defense art. Back in the present, the MC smiled faintly. We share a secret now, father. I'm happier about that than even learning the technique itself. Whack. The heavenly demon flicked the MC's forehead again. Don't get cheeky. Later that day, The MC approached Leon, who stood silently nearby. Why are you still here? I'm your shield, not your sword, she said. I protect, not attack. The MC blinked, then chuckled. She never used to joke like this before. Leon, he said softly, I still can't fix your body's petrification effects. But I swear, I'll find a way. Just hold on a little longer. She didn't respond, but in her silence, there was hope. The wind was still as Wangjia looked at Leon, her silhouette cast in silver light. I told the cult leader this place must change, he said quietly. It should be a home for those like you, where no one has to sacrifice their bodies just to protect others. Leon said nothing. Her breath caught. Then Wangjia smiled at her. Leon's eyes widened. For a moment, she looked like she might cry. Suddenly, Wangjia raised his voice. Leanne, from this moment on, you are relieved of your duty as my bodyguard. What? Leon stammered, frozen in shock. You're firing me? Wangjia smirked. I'm promoting you. You'll be the captain of the Phantom Shadow Corps. Leon blinked. That unit doesn't even exist. It does now, Wangjia said. A special corps that answers only to me. To lead a unit? I'll need resources. And I'll get them the only way I can. By surviving the mission that ended in slaughter before I regressed. A red-clad mercenary barked orders in the gathering dusk. I'm Yangdong. I'm leading this mission. It pays well, but it's dangerous. Anyone who screws up dies. He turned to Wangjia. You, new guy. Recommended by that scout Seo? Wangjia nodded. That's right. Yangdang narrowed his eyes. Can I trust your skills? Wangjia grinned. Want to test me? I can slice through your entire body if you want. Yangdang spat. Big talk. Let's see if you're still smug when your head's rolling. Wangjia smirked but added, Don't worry, I'll follow your lead as long as I get paid. Later that night, the party stopped to camp in the forest. Dusk gave way to firelight. Yangdang handed out strips of dried beef. Eat well. Might be the last decent food you get. Grumbling echoed as some complained it was only jerky. Could be worse, Yangdang snapped. Better than starving. Wangjia sat quietly in the corner, observing. They're going to die tonight, he thought. Back then they were ambushed. Not even bodies were found. Suddenly, cough, gurgle. One man vomited blood, then another, and another. Screams erupted as one by one, the mercenaries collapsed, blood spilling from their mouths. Poison, Wangjia muttered, stunned. Yangdang stepped toward him, alive and smirking. Why are you still fine? He asked coldly. Wangjia turned slowly. I didn't eat your food. Yangdang grinned, drawing his sword. Too bad. Would have been easier if you just died with the rest. So it was him all along, Wangjia realized. The commander poisoned his own team for money. Wangjia met his eyes. What a sad life you live. Killing your comrades for coin. What's it all for? Yangdang laughed. For booze, for women. What else do you need? A voice cut through the forest. It's over, Yangdang. A new figure rode in with 3 assassins, cold and focused. Wangjia felt their presence. They're strong. Yangdang turned. So you're finally here? The newcomer, Prajurit Quan, shouted, Get out of the carriage or I'll burn it down. From inside the carriage, a woman and child slowly emerged, terrified. So you were hiding like rats, Quan sneered. You embarrassed me. I was punished for losing you. The woman trembled, pleading, Please, spare my child. Quan paused, then mocked, You think I'll show mercy? Beg for it? The child began to cry. Spare him, and I'll pay you 10 times the bounty, the woman offered, voice shaking. Quan laughed. Spare me your lies. Your father's already captured. The woman's face went pale. Quan then noticed Wangjia. Who's that? Our MC responded. I'm just someone who's received money to bring the 2 of them to their destination. Yangdang replied, Just a vagrant I haven't dealt with yet. Quan barked, Kill him. Now. Yangdang turned, unsheathing his blade. Time to die, stranger. Wangjia chuckled. So predictable. Betraying even your own master? What makes you think you'll get paid? Yang Dang paused. Wang Jia leaned in. They'll cut you down next. You're just a loose end. Quan's face darkened. Loose end? You're the one who's gonna die first, he shouted. He pointed at Wang Jia. Kill him. As Yang Dang moved. Thunk. A dagger buried itself in the back of his neck. He fell. Dead. Quan lowered his arm, having thrown the blade. Fool. I should have known not to trust a scumbag like you. Wang Jia looked at the corpse, then at Quan. That's what happens to traitors who kill for money. But before you go, don't forget to tap like if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe for more epic recaps, turn on notifications so you never miss a chapter. And with that being said, Manhwa Champions, we're going to bring this video to an end. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will catch you all later. Peace.